Hello and welcome to In Depth. I'm Tina Jha. In September 1960, Indian Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and Pakistani President Muhammad Ayub Khan signed a water sharing agreement concerning the use of waters in the Indus River system. The treaty came to be known as the Indus Water Treaty. Orchestrated by the World Bank, the agreement took 9 years of negotiations. Under the treaty, the control of 6 rivers in the Indus water system was divided equally between the two countries. Internationally, the Indus Water Treaty is seen as one of the most successful water sharing arrangements in the world because it has stayed in place despite the two neighbors having been engaged in 4 wars till date. But between India and Pakistan, the treaty has been a major source of conflict due to its interpretation and implementation. Since its inception, there have been multiple disagreements and differences between both countries over the Indus Water Treaty. Today in Depth, we try and understand the Indus Water Treaty in detail, the disputes regarding water sharing between India and Pakistan, in particular, the current conflict. Article 8 of the Indus Water Treaty states that commissioners from both India and Pakistan may undertake once in every 5 years a general tour of inspection of the rivers for ascertaining the facts connected with various development and works on the rivers on both sides. Now, since the inception of the treaty, 118 tours from both sides have been undertaken. A team from Pakistan is in India for inspection at the Chenab River Basin in Jammu and Kashmir from 28 January to 31st. Pakistan's Indus Water Commissioner Syed Muhammad Meher Ali Shah, along with his 2 advisors, will be inspecting the river basin as mandated under the Indus Water Treaty. The Indus Water Treaty of 1960 between India and Pakistan imposes an obligation on both countries under which their commissioners are mandated to inspect sites and works on both sides of the Indus Basin in a block of 5 years. Since the beginning of the treaty, a total of 118 such tours on both sides have been undertaken. The last tours of the Commission in Pakistan and India were held in July 2013 and September 2014 respectively. The current tour by the Pakistani team was originally scheduled for October 2018. But was postponed due to local bodies and panchayat elections in Jammu and Kashmir. This tour will be followed by a visit of India's Indus Commissioner to Pakistan at a mutually convenient date.
The Indus Waters Treaty, both countries have the right to inspect projects, especially the ones in J&K, because the rivers in the J&K have been assigned substantively to Pakistan. Therefore, India's rights on the rivers in J&K are limited, and the designs of the dams must conform to the treaty. So the 2 commissioners have to agree upon the inspection time, and once they agree, then Pakistani team can come across and inspect the sites in India to ensure that they are in compliance with the Indus Waters Treaty.
Under the Indus Water Treaty signed between India and Pakistan in 1960, with the intervention of the World Bank, waters flowing in 3 Indus tributaries, the Satluj, the Beas and the Ravi, were allotted to India, while the Chenab, the Jhelum and the Indus waters were allotted to Pakistan. The treaty also provided for the funding and building of dams, link canals, barrages and tube wells like the Tarbela Dam on the Indus River and the Mangala Dam on the Jhelum River. These dams help provide water to Pakistan in the amounts that it had previously received from these rivers, now assigned to India's exclusive use. Much of the financing was contributed by member countries of the World Bank. The treaty required the creation of a permanent Indus Commission with a commissioner from both countries in order to maintain a channel for communication and try to resolve questions about implementation of the treaty. Numerous disputes were peacefully settled over the years through the Permanent Indus Commission. In addition, a mechanism for resolving disputes was also provided. However, the treaty said, while India could use the western rivers for consumption purposes, restrictions were placed on building of storage systems. It stated that aside of certain specific cases, no storage and irrigation systems can be built by India on the western rivers. This is the basic dissatisfaction from the Indian point of view. Even though the treaty lays out that under certain exceptional circumstances, storage systems can be built, the complaint raised by India is that Pakistan deliberately stops any such effort due to its political rivalry with India. The matter is further aggravated by the fact that the western rivers lie in Jammu and Kashmir, which has been a subject of tussle between both countries since independence. Pakistan fears the threat of drought and famine as it is highly dependent on the rivers Indus, Chenab and Jhelum for water supply. These rivers do not originate in Pakistan but flow to the country through India. Since the treaty's conception in 1960, the two countries have been embroiled in conflicts over a number of projects, including the Salal hydroelectric project on the Chenab, the Tulbul project, the Kishan Ganga and the Ratal hydroelectric plants.
India has not built even a single dam so far. Now, last year, when Prime Minister went there to inaugurate the Kishan Ganga dam, he also laid the foundation of a Pakaldul dam, which is on the Chenab River. This will be the first storage dam that will be built on Chenab in the territory of Jammu and Kashmir as per the treaty. So I think that is what has upset the Pakistanis, and probably when they come here, they may ask for a visit to these sites. So overall, I think the Indus Water Treaty has held, but over the last few years, maybe about last 10-15 years, Pakistan has started using the dispute resolution mechanism, which I mentioned earlier, to slow down the construction of the dams which India has been making. So I think it has now become a very big issue between India and Pakistan, and whether the Indus Water Treaty, which was signed in 1960 in a totally different conditions, when the technology of dam construction was different, when India-Pakistan relations were very different, whether this treaty can now hold, and the present state of the relationship is not good enough actually to really resolve the water issue, which has now become a big issue between India and Pakistan. And as you know, there is a water stress in Pakistan, and as a result there is a heightened sensitivity in Pakistan about the usage of water by India, and that's why the Indus Water Treaty continues to draw a lot of attraction, a lot of interest, and at the same time it also causes a lot of worry, and they try to use this to browbeat India, that India is violating this treaty, etc. But then that's all part of propaganda, I think. India has stuck to the treaty in letter and spirit, and so far there has not been any violation.
The current conflict is over the Kishan Ganga Dam project and the Ratal hydroelectric project. The Kishan Ganga hydroelectric plant is a $864 million worth of project that was initiated in 2007 and was projected to be completed by 2016. Pakistan took the project to the Court of Arbitration in 2010, raising 6 issues that they say violate the treaty. In 2013, the Court of Arbitration ruled India to go ahead with the project under the condition that a minimum water flow to Pakistan of 9 cubic meters per second is maintained. On several other issues, however, no agreement between the two countries could be reached. The 850 megawatt hydroelectric power station named Ratal was initiated in June 2013 on the Chenab River. While laying the foundation stone of the project, then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh had said that it will help in the development of Jammu and Kashmir. However, Pakistan once again raised objection at a meeting of the Indus Commission held in September 2013 to the project on grounds of violation to the Indus Water Treaty. In the wake of the Uri attack in September 2016, India decided to not hold a meeting of the Permanent Indus Commission so long as Pakistan does not stop funding terrorist activities. The decision led to further delay in concluding the future of both the projects.
Well, the Indus Waters Treaty clearly lays down many sort of steps required when the two parties, in this case India and Pakistan, come to some sort of disagreement. There is the mechanism called the Permanent Indus Commission, which tries to resolve the differences and the disagreements. However, when it becomes a dispute, which Pakistan usually now puts various hydro projects into that category, then you have the arbitration done by the International Court of Justice in The Hague.
In 2018, a 9-member team led by Indian Commissioner for Indus Waters, Pradeep Kumar Saxena, visited Lahore and held talks over 2 days with his Pakistani counterpart on water disputes on the platform of the Pakistan-India Permanent Commission for Indus Waters. During the talks, Pakistan's Commissioner for Indus Waters raised objections and also suggested possible solutions to the problem. It was on the basis of this that India agreed to get the sites of its 2 projects in the Chenab Basin inspected by Pakistani experts. India also assured Pakistan that its objections over the 2 projects would be resolved amicably in the light of technical memoranda to be prepared and exchanged by the 2 countries at the next meeting of the Pakistan-India Permanent Commission for Indus Waters. With inputs from Asta Kulshresht, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV. The India-Pakistan dispute on the Indus Basin has drawn immense attention in South Asia and across the world, largely due to the nature of the tense political relationship between the 2 countries. In fact, the Indus Water Treaty has also been cited as one of the most successful water-sharing endeavours by 2 sovereign nations. However, disputes on the treaty remain.
Scarcity of water is a huge problem in many countries, especially the developing ones. The effects of environmental degradation and poor management of available water resources have made water one of the scarcest resources in many countries. As a result, there is a struggle for this resource, and this sometimes leads to conflicts. Growing scarcity of water resources, increasing population and poor management of natural resource in India and Pakistan has resulted in an increasing demand for water resources. The Indus Waters Treaty between India and Pakistan is one such example of a major international river basin conflict.
There is a very important article, Article 9 in the Indus Water Treaty, which is a dispute resolution mechanism essentially. It provides for a 3-stage resolution of differences. The first is that at the level of the commission, if there is an issue, which they call it actually questions, the technical parties, technical vocabulary is that of a question. So they try to resolve this question. If the questions don't get resolved, then this goes to a neutral expert, and there is a whole mechanism how a neutral expert can be appointed. So neutral expert then looks at the differences. The question becomes a difference, and if the neutral expert cannot resolve a question, then it becomes a dispute. Then a court of arbitration is appointed, and for all this there are very detailed provisions as to how this has to be done.
In 1960, the Indus Water Treaty was developed to solve the water dispute between Pakistan and India during that period. In 1970, India started building hydropower projects in Kashmir, to which Pakistan raised concern. Pakistan also objected over India building Tulbul Barrage on River Jhelum. India stopped the project unilaterally. India had proposed to build the barrage in 1984 on the River Jhelum. India claimed the barrage would make the river navigable in summer, but Pakistan believed it could be used by India to control the flow of the river. In 2007, Pakistan had raised concern over Kishan Ganga hydroelectric plant. The dispute related to Indus Water Treaty has grown more intense in recent years, in the aftermath of the Mumbai attacks on 26 November 2008. In 2010, Pakistan had accused India of choking water supply consistently. In 2016, after the Uri attack by Pakistan, which led to the killing of 19 Indian soldiers, India had said it would review the treaty. That time, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had said, blood and water cannot flow simultaneously.
Pakistanis always feel that India is violating the treaty. When they say violating the treaty, it means the technical provisions of building dams, etc. Pakistanis feel that your dams do not subscribe to those specifications. So this has happened in the past, for instance, in the case of a Baglihar dam that India built, or the Kishan Ganga dam on Jhelum that India built. So Pakistanis always feel that India is somehow taking away the water of the western rivers, which by the treaty is to be used mostly by Pakistanis except for a small amount of water which can be used for agriculture and irrigation purposes and for power generation by India. So there are some provisions in the treaty. So Pakistanis are always wanting to put some kind of a question and doubt the sincerity of India, etc. So essentially that India should not take away the water from the western rivers as it is provided for in the treaty.
In 2018, Indus Water Treaty was once again in news after PM Modi inaugurated the Kishan Ganga hydroelectric project in Jammu and Kashmir. Pakistan lodged a complaint with the World Bank alleging that by building the Kishan Ganga Dam, India violated the treaty. It also argued that it will disrupt the supply of water coming into their country. However, India said the Kishan Ganga project has been designed in a way that it will divert water from the river, produce power and then divert the water back to the Kishan Ganga river. This was not a new dispute. In 2010, Pakistan lodged a complaint with the Hague's Permanent Court of Arbitration on India's plan to build a dam on the Kishan Ganga river, claiming that it was a violation of the treaty. In 2011, after visiting both projects, the Court of Arbitration put a stay order that prevented India from constructing a permanent structure. In 1988, Pakistan's then Commissioner for the Indus Water Treaty first became aware of the survey work on a possible scheme to divert waters from the Kishan Ganga into the Vular Lake and asked India to pause work. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
At a time when states within India are unable to find an amicable solution to sharing water from rivers that flow between them, India and Pakistan are living examples of how water resources can be shared through legal framework. For more than 58 years, India and Pakistan are sharing the water of Indus and its tributaries as per the Indus Water Treaty, albeit with certain disagreements. Here's a look at the history of how both countries signed the Indus Water Treaty.
The Indus Water Treaty is a water distribution treaty between India and Pakistan administered by the World Bank, and it was signed on September 19, 1960. The agreement was signed in the presence of the then Prime Minister Jawaharlal Nehru and then Pakistan President Ayub Khan. The treaty administers how the river Indus and its tributaries that flow in both countries will be utilized. According to the treaty, the Beas, Ravi and Satluj are to be governed by India, while the Indus, Chenab and Jhelum are to be taken care of by Pakistan.
See, the treaty was signed way back in 1960, keeping in mind the requirements of both countries. What it did was that the three rivers of Himachal and Punjab, they are called the eastern rivers, the Satluj, Ravi and Beas. Those three rivers were assigned entirely to India. They contained about 20% of the total water flow in the Indus river system. The remaining 80% flow takes place in the three rivers that flow essentially in J&K, the Chenab, Jhelum and the Indus, which contain about 80% of the water. For those rivers, the provision was that India would have very limited agricultural use, consumptive. In addition, India had the right to use it for hydel purposes with very limited storage capacity, and it could use it for navigational purposes.
The 6 rivers of the Indus Basin originate in Tibet and flow across the Himalayan ranges to end in the Arabian Sea south of Karachi. Before partition, it was a common network for both India and Pakistan. However, while partition managed to draw terrestrial borders, the question of how to divide the Indus waters was something that needed to be worked out. Since these rivers do not originate from Pakistan but flow to the country through India, Pakistan feared the threat of drought and famine. Initially, the issue of water sharing was sorted out by the Inter-Dominion Accord of May 4, 1948 that laid out that India would release enough waters to Pakistan in return for annual payments from the latter. But the need for an alternative solution was soon felt. Eventually, in 1960, the two countries reached a decisive solution with the intervention of the World Bank wherein precise details were laid out regarding the way in which the waters would be distributed. The treaty also provides for an arbitration mechanism to solve disputes amicably.
Well, the Indus River system and the Indus waters means a lot to Pakistan. More than 70% of its water resources is completely dependent on the Indus water system. So there is no doubt that Pakistan relies heavily on the Indus water system, and that we also quite readily acknowledge the fact that their dependency on the rivers that flow from India is very high, and therefore, and that is why we engaged in a treaty. Very few upper riparian countries in the world have a treaty that benefits a lower riparian country.
The treaty required the creation of a permanent Indus Commission with a commissioner from each country in order to maintain a channel for communication and to try to resolve questions about the implementation of the treaty. In addition, a mechanism for resolving disputes was also provided. Numerous disputes were peacefully settled over the years through the permanent Indus Commission. The Indus Waters Treaty is the only agreement that has been faithfully implemented and upheld by both India and Pakistan. Although its negotiation was often arduous and frustrating for the World Bank and for the Indian and Pakistani delegations, the final outcome was amenable to all parties. The example of the Indus Waters Treaty suggests that cooperation between India and Pakistan is possible in cases where the benefits of agreement are plentiful and pressing, overwhelming the political hedging that prevents other forms of reconciliation. With inputs from Astha Kulshresht, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
So that's it from us in this edition of In Depth. We'll be back same time tomorrow with a focus on some other subject. You can also watch our episodes online on YouTube and Twitter and get back to us with your feedback and suggestions. Thanks for your time.